Back. We're here with Nick from Amlin Auctions. Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So, can you kind of talk us through how Amlin Auctions was created?
Yeah, so it is actually created on a whim. My mom was born and raised in Toledo, and my dad grew up in Springfield, Ohio, in London. And my dad was in college at the Ohio State University, and my mom was doing real estate in Toledo. They both, on a complete whim, decided to go to auction school in Columbus. They met at auction school in the 90s, and then about a year later, my dad ended up moving up to Toledo, and pretty much the rest is about history. So they started the company in 96. Yeah, we've been going strong ever since.
That's very interesting because you don't really think of auction school as a place to kind of find your...
Especially on a full win. But yeah, they found love at auction school.
Well, I mean, you guys have been killing it. I mean, like for a very long time, a very strong brand.
Yeah.
That like you guys are building, and kind of like the universe was like, hey,
It's all worked out. It's all God's plan, right?
So, why would I want to sell my house at an auction?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different reasons. It really depends on the seller's situation, but with the auction, we sell it as is, not subject to any inspections, financing, or appraisals. So it really eliminates a lot of the issues that pop up with traditional real estate. It also is a quicker process. Typically, we advertise for about 30 days before the auction, and then the buyer has 30 days to close following the auction. So start to finish, you're looking 45 to 60 days. So it's a quicker process. You also get everybody on the same playing field because everybody's playing by the same rules, the same terms and conditions. So you eliminate a lot of the multiple offer situations where you have financing versus cash and escalation clauses and your appraisal gaps and all that stuff. You eliminate all that. You get everybody on the same field and get everybody to compete against each other.
And this is actually a question from Ivan from Serenity.
All right.
If I'm selling my house at an auction, do I have to take the highest bid?
So yes and no. It depends on the type of auction. We have three main types of auctions that we do here at Amlin Auctions. The absolute means that it is absolutely going to sell to the highest bidder. So you, regardless of price, you do have to be willing to accept the highest bid. The minimum bid auction is probably our most popular. That's where we set a minimum bid price, something the seller's comfortable with, but the buyers are still, going to the auction because it's so low. At that, you have to be willing to accept anything over the minimum bid. The last auction is the reserve auction. That's where the seller has the right to accept or decline the final bid. So that's the one that Ivan's probably talking about. If it goes high enough, we take it. If it doesn't go high enough, then we unfortunately go back to the drawing board.
That's interesting that there's three types because you wouldn't think that there's different type of auctions, right? Like you would think, there's one type, you put it up,
yep,
people bid, and whoever.
Yeah, there's a lot of different types, and there's the safety nets involved, like that minimum bid, where that's our starting point. We're not going to go below that. So yeah.
And what is the most interesting item you have auctioned off?
Ooh, that's a good one. We've sold funeral homes, are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We've sold a bowling alley. So as far as the content side of things, we've sold pizza vending machines was pretty interesting. We've sold, you name it, we sold it. We've sold a lot of interesting stuff over the years.
Yeah, and you guys also do not only houses, but like you said, you guys also do like whatever people want to auction.
Yeah, we do content, storage units. We do a bunch of charity auctions, business liquidations, residential properties obviously is our main focus. But yeah, we do commercial properties and a little bit of everything.
And when you went to auctioneer school,
what
was the most difficult thing you had to learn?
That's a good question. I would say I went to auction school right out of high school. I was 18 years old. I think the biggest thing out of the gate was just getting in front of the crowd. At auction school, day one, you're up in front of 60 people bid calling. And at 18, or even just starting out in the auction industry, you don't know what you're doing. You're not great at bid calling. Your cadence isn't there. Your confidence isn't there. So I think the biggest thing out of the gate was just learning how to get over that fear of getting in front of a crowd. But
well, I mean, you have to be okay messing up, and I feel like not only public speaking, but public speaking plus learning the practice and all that of actually being an auctioneer.
Definitely, it's fun. It takes some practice, that's for sure.
Yes. And what are some disadvantages of working in a family business?
That's a good one. Luckily, the way our business model is set up, so we have 4 auctioneers here full time. It's me, my dad, my brother, and then Irma. So Irma's with Howard Hanna. I'm with Key Realty. My dad's with Danbury Realtors, and then my brother's with Remax Preferred. So we have a good dynamic because we work our own brokerages individually, so we're never stepping on each other's toes. As far as disadvantages, yeah, we butt heads every now and then. But for the most part, it works great because we all kind of farm our own brokerages. So, knock on wood, the arguments are pretty far and few between.
Yeah, and people say mixing
Business and
business with
family.
friends or
Yeah.
business with family
Yeah.
can get a little difficult
It
sometimes.
has its days, but knock on wood, we all get along. We're all pretty much the same as far as business oriented people, so it works out.
And you had Nick's DJ services
I did, yeah.
back in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
How did this prepare you to become an auctioneer?
That's a good one too. So the DJ thing was on a full whim too. So my dad was in the Holland Springfield Rotary, and they had a big golf ball event, and I was 14. Their DJ canceled the day of the event,
Oh, wow.
and my dad was like, "Hey, if you want, you can use my iPad and our auction speakers and DJ this event tonight, and they'll give you like $300." I was a freshman in high school, so I was like, "Oh yeah, let's sign me up." So it just kind of snowballed, but yeah, it was a great way to meet people. It was a great way to get in front of the crowds, the microphone work, as well as learning all the equipment. We don't use a ton of live PAs anymore, but it's very handy to know how all that stuff works and be able to set it up and run the speakers and the whole nine. So yeah, it's a lot of microphone work though.
And as you were growing up, did you know that you were going to be an auctioneer, or was this kind of something that you just kind of fell into?
So I've a little bit of both, I guess. Kindergarten career day, I was an auctioneer. I've loved the business. I grew up in it. I mean, I've been going to auctions since I was in diapers. So I fell in love with the business probably in high school, doing a lot of contents auctions and stuff like that, and working it. Every day in this business is completely different. Some days I'm in dress clothes and going to $1 million property. Some days I'm, in work clothes cleaning out a house, and everything in between. So I just love that every day is different. I've always loved the business, so it just kind of felt natural to step into it.
And what is your most popular business principle?
Ooh, we are very low pressure with the way we approach things. We always say that we don't want to sound like used car salesmen. We want to, lay out all of the facts, be as honest and transparent as we possibly can, and then basically let the seller make the decision. We don't ever want to pressure anybody into anything. We want to be able to sleep at night,
Sure.
and we really, I think, pride ourselves on that. Everyone here at this company does, and the auction is a great tool for a lot of situations. By no means is it a perfect tool for all situations. And we go on listing appointments where we say, hey, I think in your situation, you're better to list this traditionally with an agent and, go that route. So I think honesty and just kind of being low pressure is our best principle here.
And I think carrying that with you as a business owner and just as a business in general is very important, because I feel like that type of like the honesty, the transparency, the ethics is lacking in business.
Amen. Yeah.
Especially. So I think you can feel when you walk into a room, you have good vibes.
There's
you care.
a lot of agents that I think fight for the listing sometime,
Yes.
and I think I'd rather lose out on the listing and do what's right. I think it at the end of the day, it's gonna pay off more.
Yeah. And do you think happiness is required to live a fulfilling life?
Oh, 100%. Everyone here, we love what we do. Like I said earlier, every day is completely different. I've never woken up and been mad to come to work. I love what we do, and we have fun doing it. It's not rocket science. It's it's fun. We get to help people. We get to sell these properties. We get to see different things every day, meet new people constantly. It's fun. It's a fun business. We're very happy. We got the greatest schedule in the world, I say. Being able to make that schedule and work around things and do stuff like that, it's just fulfilling.
I have 2 more questions.
All right.
Does IQ or character define the trajectory of your life?
Definitely. I think character more so than IQ. I think my parents definitely ingrained it in my brother and myself that whatever you give, you get back tenfold. We're pretty big with charity auctions, and we try to help the community as much as we can. And I do think that it comes back to you tenfold. I think character is everything. I want to be the person that I'd want to work with. It's just that simple. And at the end of the day, I can say that we treat people right.
Yeah, and I think that just leans on the relationship aspect of like, if you have a high IQ but you have no character, no one's going to want to work with you.
Amen.
Relationships are everything.
Amen.
Even if you have no money, you have relationships.
You're rich.
You can make things happen.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have one more question
Cool.
for you. If you could have dinner with two people,
Ooh.
one person from the past
Okay.
and one person from the present,
Interesting.
who would it be and why?
That's a good question. Interesting. From the present. Oh, wow, that's a good one. I don't know. There's just so many choices going around. I mean, I think I would really. Mark Cuban comes to mind. I would just love to hang out with him. He's such a down to earth person. You know, and obviously he's got an incredible business mind and all the philanthropy and everything else he does. I just think hanging out with him for a day would be incredible. From the past, that's a good one too. I'm trying to think in my head. My goodness.
You can take your time.
You put me on the spot here. From the past, I'm trying to think of like a political figure or something that comes like stands out. So many are swirling around right now. I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on the past one. I'm not sure who I would pick. I have to get back to you on that one. I can't
First
think.
one that comes to mind.
I don't know. No, nothing's like popping up that I'm trying to. I'm trying to think of like maybe a famous auctioneer. I know Ralph Wade would be a pretty cool hang. He's a famous auctioneer.
Okay.
I always looked up to him when I first started bid calling. So I think that'd be a pretty cool, just to learn the mentorship and, you know, how auctions were in his time and everything. So that'd be probably who I'd pick, I think. I'd need more time to nail down my answer, but I'll go with that for now.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, I have no clue.
I have no clue. That's
no
tough.
clue.
You know, it's just, I mean, obviously there's hundreds of choices. So it's like everything in my mind, I'm like, oh no, there's got to be something better than that. So yeah, cool.
Well, awesome. Nick, that's all the questions I have.
Cool.
How can people find you guys, and what is one thing you want to leave people with?
Yeah, definitely. Check out our Facebook page, Amlin Auctions on Facebook. Download our app in the App Store or Google Play Store. Just search Amlin Auctions. You can turn your notifications on there and get all of our auctions published. As well as if you go to our website, amlinauction.com, you can get added to our mailing list right through the website and check out some of that stuff. What to leave people with, I think, is, in our industry, is just the biggest thing is education. People think the word auction and they think that we're giving the place away or it's a distressed property, and I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 it's not. You know, we sell move-in ready homes left and right. It's got a negative connotation, but, you know, I think really just educating yourself and, you know, looking into it and understanding how the process works and stuff like that is the biggest thing I'd like to teach people.
Yes. Well, awesome, Nick.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.